Excerpts from the film Voyage of the replica Golden Hinde 2, 1973-74, filmed and produced by John Cadd, narrated by me, Keith Smeaton, crew member. When sailing from Tower Pier, London to Plymouth, from whence Drake had sailed in 1577, we were caught in a fierce gale in the estuary of the River Medway, which regrettably sank Ted Heath's yacht. At Plymouth, we rigged the Golden Hinde for her pending long passage to San Francisco, commemorating Drake's successful navigation as the first man and ship to achieve the task. In Drake's day, there were no steel hulls or wire rigging. It was all natural fibre and wood. Therefore, we had to ensure the rigging, standing and running, was shipshape for the long voyage ahead. Because when the oceans become angry, they can destroy a small vessel, as history has proved, and the Pacific Ocean did become very angry at us. On a rainy morning of our departing, the Captain Adrian Small mustered the crew and prayed for our safe arrival in San Francisco. Sam, a Canadian, took the helm and steered out to sea under direction of Captain Small's keen eye. Regrettably, the wind fell away, and we were slowly moved out of the harbour. The rain continued to pour down, resulting in our having to overhaul the buntlines to allow the water fall out of the sails, the mainsail, so it could be set. As we left, crowds gathered in Plymouth Quays and the hilltops to wave us a farewell, but not goodbye. The finances of Queen Elizabeth, who was very keen to the voyage to succeed because she believed Drake would be successful, supported Drake's voyage, but she did in secret, and she didn't want any news of it going out, because if it was, she might become liable to the Spanish. Drake, noting the importance of secrecy, let it be known the intent of the voyage was a normal trading voyage along the west coast of Africa. It was not until after they had passed the Canary Islands and turned west where the butter melts. Drake informed his crew of their intent to obtain some of the gold the Spanish were taking from the Incas in South America. These are images of the Golden Hinde under full sail, made of canvas, which had to be maintained because they could blow out, requiring us to sew new ones en route. You can see the crew doing this work as we sail along. Interestingly, the captain and the first mate, Chris Daniel, navigated by sextant and the Elizabethan astrolabe, which were extraordinarily accurate. The skipper is here plotting the ship's progress in consideration of deviation and variation. The point is, in a ship like this, it is subject to the wind where it takes us. As said, the crew was required to constantly maintain the natural fibre rigging. Here we see the boatswain starting to make a new set of sails for the Pacific Ocean voyage. What he is doing is sewing the bolt ropes onto the canvas sails, to which the ropes that control the sail, e.g. the sheets and clew lines and bunt lines, are attached. He is using a sailmaker's bench and a palm and needle. There was time to relax between watches. Here we see a sailor aloft tarring down the rigging using a boatswain's chair. The material is a mixture of tar and tallow. Tallow is fat, which is boiled, into which the liquid tar is poured. It is a messy job, and the tar gets everywhere, in your hair, in your clothes, in your bedding, and is virtually impossible to remove. This is why the name of a sailor was Jolly Jack Tar, and it hailed from the tar. Each Sunday the captain held assembly on the quarterdeck. You can see here the first mate Chris and me on the helm. Here you can see the macrame, fancy rope work which Sam is adorning the ship's wheel. We arrived at Barbados. After a month, we leave heading for the Panama Canal because the insurance company will not allow us to sail through the Magellan Straits or round the Hawk as Drake did. Setting sail. The replica truly depicts an Elizabethan galleon. Here we are on the Colombian coast, sailing at night, where the helmsman and the third mate, Robbie, are steering the ship by moonlight. In the morning we have to hose down each other and sand down the decks, cleaning ship. Amazingly, we are caught by the fresh water streaming out of the River Magdalena. Drake, not knowing of the route around Cape Horn, sailed through the Magellan Straits into the Pacific Ocean, which the Spanish and the Portuguese deemed as their private sea. And after a violent storm in the southern oceans, he sailed up the west coast of the Americas, raiding Spanish and Portuguese ships and ports. Drake had believed the Northwest Passage facilitated his return to England. However, because of the Northern Hemisphere's low temperatures, and Drake had to turn south again, he knew the Spanish were after him. He also knew the Golden Hinde needed repairs. So from a sailor's point of view, he ranged along the North California coast until he reached a suitable bay to effect repairs. It was located at San Francisco Bay Area. This is Brian preparing to lift the anchor. We used the capstan for this project. It is fantastic to see dolphins accompanying us. You can see the complicated rigging which has to be maintained during the voyage, a sailor's work is never done, because to effect this, each crew member has to have the knowledge and skills to safely maintain the vessel. It was time for all hands to bend on the new set of sails we had made, which Jan, the second mate, successfully supervised. You can see here the reefing design utilizing what is called a bonnet attached to the main sail and the foresail, which is removed in bad weather. This is Brian, a Scotsman, securing the clew lines of the mainsail after it has been furled to the yard. Because we are approaching the Pacific in the wintertime where we should not be, all the focus is upon finishing the new set of sails. After being becalmed in the Pacific for Christmas 1974, the trade winds blowing from the east to the west, to our surprise, changed direction north. We had no choice but to be blown north in that direction, straight into a hurricane off Point Reyes, California, with 90 feet waves higher than our masts. It was so bad that we could not film it. However, with the help of a tug as an anchor, we got off the lee shore upon which we were going to be shipwrecked. Setting up the tow line was a major feat in that weather. We had to place a strop around the ship's hull and attach it to the tug's tow line. It was an amazing and enthralling experience, the news of which was being broadcast over California, thrilling the people. Therefore, when sailing into San Francisco Bay, we had an amazing welcome. This is the plate of the ship, actually made. A yacht passing so close knocked off our figurehead. And we had two 21-gun salutes.